there, everybody. We're back. I can't believe it. Welcome to Season 5. That's right, our 5th season of JW Kids Online. And can you believe it? Summer is over, vacations are done, and school has started. That was a quick summer. I don't know about yours, but, it was quick. So how was your summer? Was it good? I hope you got to do some fun stuff. I got to do a ton of fun stuff. Here, let me show you. Here I am on a roller coaster. Here's me going skydiving. And here's me fishing on a beach somewhere. Wow! Summer can be a lot of fun, especially if you plan to go do fun stuff like that. Speaking of plans, this week we're going to hear about someone that God made huge plans for. And we'll get to that in a bit. But first, it's game time! Hey everyone, welcome to the very first super fun, exciting game of the season called Escape. We're in the book of Exodus this month, and the Israelites escaped from Egypt, so Escape. I'm calling it that, and I'm sticking to it. All right, we have two contestants here. We have Miss Danielle and Miss Christine. Hey everybody, how you doing?
Great.
Are you ready? Mm-hmm. All right, I will tell you how we're going to play the game. In my hand, I have 100 Bible questions. These are actually very uncommon questions. Some you might know, but a lot of them you probably won't know at all. Everybody look at the game board. There you can see the game board. Very nice. This is basically the actual path that the Israelites took out of Egypt. They went all over the place. It took them 40 years to get to the end, but you know what? We'll do it in 5 minutes. All right, we're going to both start at the beginning here. I'm going to read a question. If they get it right, hooray, they can roll the dice and they can go forward as many spaces as the dice says. If you land on a shortcut, you can take the shortcut, but if you land on the end of the shortcut, you got to go back to the end of the beginning of the shortcut, so it goes both ways. So here we go. I flipped a coin in my mind earlier. Miss Christine, you won. Good job. I'm going to ask you this question. Oh, and if you miss a question, if you get it wrong, you go back 2 spaces. Miss Christine, which prophet was called Belteshazzar, chief of magicians? Was it Daniel, Ezekiel, or Micah?
Daniel.
It was Daniel. All right, roll the dice. Ooh, 10. Go forward 10. Oh, right on the shortcut, right away. Miss Danielle, what is significant about the Gospel of John? Is it the only gospel that calls Jesus the Son of God? Is it the only gospel that includes John the Baptist? Or is it the only gospel without parables?
Number 1.
Number 1, the only gospel that calls Jesus Son of God. I'm sorry, it is the only gospel that does not include parables. Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they all have parables, not John. Miss Christine, which apostle has a nephew mentioned in the Bible? Was it the Apostle Peter? Was it the Apostle Bartholomew, or was it the Apostle Paul?
Bartholomew.
I'm sorry, it is Paul.
It's Paul?
Paul
Okay.
mentions his nephew in the Bible, so I'm sorry.
So do I go back the shortcut?
No, you can go back this way.
Oh, okay.
This one's going to be easy. Joash was the youngest king in the Old Testament. At how many years old? How old was he when he became king? Was he 5? Was he 7? Was he 13?
7.
He was 7! All right, roll those dice.
Okay.
See if you can... 5.
2, 3, 4, 5.
A very respectable roll. Very good. During a vision from God, an angel lifted up Ezekiel over Jerusalem. How was the angel holding Ezekiel? Was he holding him by his hair? Was he holding him by his arm? Or was he holding him by his ears?
Just for fun, his ears.
Oh, you should have done a little less fun. It was his hair. It was his hair. I'm sorry. Go back 2, please. Miss Christine, what was Gideon's other name? Was it Jerubbaal, Manasseh, or Abiezer?
Let's go with Manasseh.
It was Jerubbaal. Miss Danielle, how old was Daniel when he was thrown into the lion's den? Was he about 20? Was he about 45? Or was he about 70?
He was about 70.
He was about 70!
Do you want me to roll?
Yeah, just roll those dice for fun. All right, what'd you get? -4. What? And Miss Danielle's the winner! half my questions. Look at this. I love that game. Good job. There's a lot of little facts that we just don't even think about that was in the Bible, which is great. Okay, Miss Danielle, congratulations. Miss Christine, thanks for coming and playing. Let's go back to the lesson right now. Great game, Miss Danielle. Way to go. Thanks for playing, Miss Christine. There's a lot of hard questions. I mean, questions you wouldn't know unless you really looked them up. All right, plans. Some people love making plans, while others just go along in life and just see what happens. So, whether you know it or not, God has made plans for you. I know it can sound cliche. I mean, like, I've heard people say this hundreds of times.
God has a plan for your life.
But here's the thing. It's true. I mean, God made you for a reason. He knows what He wants you to do with your life. And let me tell you, He will give you what you need to live out that plan. So over the years, I've been able to see how cool God's plans have been for my own life. And I know a lot of people think that, they start thinking about God's plans for them, and it's like, it's going to be hard. Or worse yet, it's going to be boring. But, God's plan for this guy was to do this. And God's plan for this guy was to do this. I mean, and what about this guy? God's plan for his life was to save the lives of over 10,000 orphans by opening an orphanage. I mean, no one else wanted to take care of all these kids, but George Mueller did, and it took a lot of faith for him to live out God's plan for his life. God's plan for us can be cool, they can be fun, they can be important and amazing. And God's plan for this one guy that I've heard about was to save the lives of an entire nation. Get your Bibles ready because Miss Anna has more.
Today, we are talking about my absolute favorite guy in the Bible, Moses. Moses was an Israelite, and the Israelites were slaves in Egypt. Very important. And from the very beginning, God had a plan for Moses. God heard the cries of the Israelites, and He saw the suffering of His people. And He could not sit back and do nothing. So, He planned to free them. Because of this plan, God needed to put Moses in some pretty interesting situations. First, when Moses was a baby, he was sent down the Nile River full of crocodiles and other dangers. Not exactly a walk in the park, am I right? And then he was swept away by strong currents and got caught in the reeds. But God still had a plan for Moses. The daughter of Pharaoh found him in the reeds and took him in and protected him. Now Pharaoh, the guy whose the daughter was the most powerful man in all of Egypt. And God placed him in his family for a purpose. Now there's something real important about Moses that you have to know. He had a hard time speaking. He talked slow and he could never find the right words to say. But still, God had a plan for Moses. And God told Moses that I will be your mouth and I shall teach you what to speak. That's Exodus 4:12. And God equipped him for his plans. And because God was helping him, Moses was prepared to ask Pharaoh many times for him to let the Israelites go free. And finally, after many disasters, pain, and suffering, Pharaoh finally relents and the Israelites are freed. Sometimes, in the middle of the scary and difficult things, it can be hard to remember that God has a plan for us. And it can be hard to go through it even. But we get to have a story. And we get to be part of God's plan for the world, God's plan for us, and God's plan for the people around us. And not only that, but He helps us through it. He gives us the skills, He teaches us, He strengthens us, and He guides us through the hard times. Thank you, God.
So, Miss Anna, that lesson about Moses, I mean, I know the story is really long, right? Mm-hmm. And you were able to really get it down short and everything, but it's really cool how, God's plan, these little things happen to put him right where God wanted him to be. So it made me wonder, have you seen anything that God's done in your life so far, working a plan out?
Yeah, I've seen one of the main things that I wanted to do with my life was teach. And I didn't want to go to school for teaching. I didn't want to be a school teacher, but I just knew that I loved teaching. And at the time, when I was young, I didn't know what that would look like. But I always wanted to help kids with their homework. I always wanted to be that person that would help them learn. When I was 18, the Lord called me to go to YWAM, and that was something that it was a big step for me. I didn't want to do it. It was scary. I thought that I was probably, I didn't want to go. But in that, he made steps for me to become a teacher. So he gave me the skills to grow my faith and to grow my leadership skills. And then not only that, but after all of those things, I had the opportunity to do a Bible school. So I got to learn about how to teach the Bible to not just Americans, but to people of all nations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was crazy, but it was really good. And it was something that I always wanted to do but never knew how. And I didn't know how I got there, but all of a sudden I was there. And then I was a teacher. And now I'm here. And now I'm a teacher again. and somehow, throughout all of these things in my life, the Lord kept answering the things that I wanted to be and the prayers that I had asked him before.
And that's just what, God does. He gives us things. He works in us, even at a young age, even at your age, kids. He's getting you ready for something. Actually, he's getting you ready for something now, too. You just have to find out what it is and find out what God's telling you. But that's the whole point of God having a plan for our lives. If we follow that, things turn out, I think, way different and way better than we could imagine. So before we go, I want to remind you, below we have a Devo there. Follow that link. Do that Devo. Do it together with your parents or grandparents, any grown-up who takes care of you, really. Do that together with them. It'll help you with this lesson. It'll help you go deeper and know more. Also, if you want to watch this episode or any other episode we've ever done, follow this link below. It's all there. And we'll see you next week.
Or tomorrow.